Welcome to the Art Colony, a podcast about art and art history in Provincetown. My name is Gaston Lacombe. When I started planning a guest list for this podcast more than a year ago, today's guest was one of the first ones I put on the list. My reasoning was no one has influenced the way Provincetown looks today more than this artist. Murals, store facades, interior decor, mammoth carnival decorations, carnival floats, and the list just goes on. And I'm talking, of course, about the amazingly talented Joshua Wilmoth.
Oh.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. What sweet words to welcome me here.
Well, I've been pursuing you for a year, and you know it.
Yes. It took me some while to work up the courage. You have been putting together such a wonderful program.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you were one of the probably like top 3 that I put on the list. I was like, yeah, Josh has to come because this town looks like Josh.
Making me blush right out of the gate.
So tell our guests, who is Joshua Wilmoth?
All right. I knew the question was coming.
Yeah.
Joshua Wilmoth is kind of all over the place, but I think it works. You know, Joshua is celebration driven, whimsically oriented, unapologetically queer, a lover of texture and maximalism, fully embarked on a crusade against blank white walls, and someone who just likes to add, you know, a creator. Dare I say, an artist?
Yes, definitely shall. So before we start anything, I want to do a little walk across Provincetown with you.
All right.
Okay.
Let's take a trip.
You have a mural at Grab and Go,
My first in town.
which is across from the post office.
Mm-hmm.
You did the outside decorations for Be Well Dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
You did the outside decorations for Be Exclusive store.
Yep.
Then I know that you did a big mural on Shankpainter Road in Susan Tran and Joe Robinelli's apartment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was once in an apartment at 179 Commercial where you had done a gigantic mural also.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I think of you, I also think of the boat slip at Carnival
Mm-hmm.
because you create these absolutely gigantic decorations for the boat slip every year. Then there's also the Queen Vic, which you did multiple years. You were doing the same thing, these gigantic decorations. What am I missing here?
I worked with Michelle at the Grab and Go when she had the health food store, which is now House of LaRue. And I painted the outside with these large scale sunflowers. That was only up for a year, but you know, it was just a little annual. I had the Fist of Power that was outside Spiritus for a few years. That was mine. And I just did the rainbow mosaic at the HRC in the Aquarium Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And then on the outside of the HRC.
Yeah, the whole HRC, you redid all of it
Yep.
in rainbow colors.
Yeah, it was just white. It was like, this doesn't feel like the HRC to me. So I was really glad they allowed me to jump
So
in.
as you said, you're on a mission against white walls.
100%. Blank white walls, yes.
If we go back to baby Josh, were you drawing
hopes and dreams?
Were you drawing on walls at that point? Were you with Crayolas or something?
No, I was constrained to the paper at a young age. But
okay.
I was drawing my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pen and paper or a book in my hand, always looking for that little escape. I grew up in South Florida, which was a strange place to learn how to read, but taught me a lot about life at an early age. But I was very fortunate down there to be close to an incredible arts middle school and arts high school. So I've been in intense arts education my entire life. And so it really helped kind of form my path that I've been on. Yeah, painting always, kind of.
I've always wondered what happens in an art school. My only reference is, remember that show Fame?
It was Fame adjacent.
Maybe, I don't know if you're old enough, but there was this show series in the early 80s, Fame. There was one famous actress in there. Anyways, but it was all about these kids, you know, breaking out in dance and
that was
this existential crisis all the time. Yeah, that's what happened there.
That's art school in a nutshell.
Okay.
And it was really wonderful because it wasn't just the visual arts, you know, it was communications, dance, music, theater. So I was able to kind of cross disciplines so early on, you know, when I needed a model, a dancer would come in, when the theater group needed something, like we would all help. So art for me was always more than just visual since a very young age. And I think that's really helped form the kind of line I want to be as an artist. You know, like I've never really thought about myself for just one medium. I like to do everything. I've had a wide background in materials. Actually, like you, I got my start in photography, like middle school and high school. almost all photography, alternate processes, analog. Like I worked in a dark room for 10 years. It was great. But then after I graduated college, this is let's paint now. And I've
Hmm.
been painting since.
So you, from a young age, knew you wanted to be an artist.
I did. All of my schooling definitely had academics interwoven through it. And so I was always mixing the two. And when I graduated from Dreyfus in Florida for high school, I was accepted to Tufts University and the Museum School of Fine Arts. And they have a really beautiful combined degree program where you can be a full time student at both and you squish 8 years of school into 5 and you walk away with degrees from both. So at the time, I had a degree in Mandarin and biopsychology and then fine arts and a master's of fine arts. And I was on my way to vet school. And so my plan was to do wildlife photography and wildlife conservation and kind of work in that field and have my vet degree. But I had some health things pop up, and being young, being confronted with your mortality. I'm like, what do I want to do? Like, I don't want to spend 8 more years in school. It's time to like go out. And that really helped channel my drive for art. It was always something that kept the demons at bay, but something I just did for me. And it was then when I was confronted with a lot of these big scary words, I was like, this is what brings me joy. And I want to share this, like this is how I want to contribute to the world around me. And from there, I've just been painting my little heart out.
Oh, good. Because, yeah, I was wondering if you had a moment where you were thinking, okay, I want to be an artist, but I really should have a job that gives me money. Because that's what a lot of artists go through.
Yeah.
They have they have to sort of come out as an artist later in life because they chose a path where they chose safety
Mhm.
over passion.
I am currently in my coming out phase, slowly relying on my art to feed myself, but uh, I have worked in hospitality my entire life. It's not only a wonderful way to connect with the community around you, but it's a great way to remind yourself how to talk to strangers and to work with sales. So I've done hospitality. I continue. I've been at the Red Inn now for 10 years. It's a wonderful way to provide for yourself and to kind of liberate your art from the pressure of being like, I need to pay my electricity bill. Like I knew early on, I didn't want to rely on my art for such utility thoughts. Like I don't want to force it to be something it's not. Especially in this town, there's so much art that is more marketable and accessible. And that's never really felt like the art that I wanted to make. So to create art on my own terms, I was like, let's just provide, let's cover all of our basic needs, and then you can do the art that you want to do. And I'm very proud to say that I've been exactly the kind of artist I've wanted to be my entire life.
And how did you get to Provincetown?
I was dating a boy about 20 years ago
Oh, that's an old
it's
story.
I know, tale as old as time, who was working at D-Bar, and he was coming to Provincetown for the 4th of July to work a party, and we were just gonna do a day trip. I'd never been here before, and I arrived, I was like, "Wow, this place can never be better." And of course, now the 4th of July is dreaded, and I can't wait for the end of February, but I fell in love with it, and it just seemed like it was kind of coded for me. I've never lived away from the ocean, a queer safe space, the cyclical nature, this art everywhere, a backbone, a legacy of art. I immediately fell in love, and I was coming here as often as I could. Um, and I was actually living with Harrison Fish at the time, who I think a lot of people will know. And he moved here one summer, and then the next year I followed suit. He told about how wonderful it was to be here, and I have never been happier. It really does feel like home.
And what year was that?
This is my 10th season.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Look at
Hey.
that. We came in the same time.
There we are. We're both still full of hopes and dreams.
So who were the artists around you at that time? You're supposed to say me now.
Oh, you. You were the pioneer that I followed.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
it was such an honor to meet you as soon as I got here.
Well, we've been doing art together for a long time. I was doing the figure drawing circle at you and Carrie's house for
Yeah.
a few years now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Somehow in my head, I thought you had been here much longer than but I guess we came in at the same time.
I was living in Boston, so it is so. I think Provincetown is one of the best assets of Boston. So I was coming as often as I can. I was very blessed to have many close friends who were coming here very often and would always like tuck their little artist charity case in their little pocket and be like, "Come down and let's have a fun party." So I was able to come a lot, but since I've lived here, it's been such a liberation of my experience with Provincetown, and it just feels so much more of home base. I love it.
How did you first get connected with the art scene here?
I was living actually with Sean Treadwell, and Sean connected me with DJ Mary Alice, my first season here. And he said she could probably, I think she's looking for someone to help her with her Carnival installations. And I didn't really know what Carnival was. I'd done casino, which was, I think, the year before I arrived. And my year, it was Gods and Goddesses, and he connected me with DJ Mary Alice, and we just really hit it off. And since she has become a huge advocate and supporter of me, and we've done some incredible projects together. But that was really the first year where I was able to paint anything so large scale and create something that only existed for one moment in time. And we did these large seahorses and this Poseidon-esque character, and we mounted on the outside of the building, and everyone was walking by and taking photos of it. And I was like, that's what I want. Like this parade is literally being paraded down by my art, and it's bringing so much joy and really giving a backdrop for people to feel like they are part of the whimsy and the magic. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. That's really incredible way to use my time and talent. And it was in that same year that me and one of my best friends were walking by the grab and go, and of course I'd eaten there at lunch, and I saw he's like, that mural seems like it could use a little loving. You should talk to her about painting it. And so, I had the courage of a freshly smoked joint. And I was like, hey, Michelle, you don't really know me, but like, I would love to do this for you again. And then since then, we've had a wonderful working relationships where I painted all the inside of their building and I do some art for them every year. And it was through that, it just kind of snowballed where I was just doing this art that was outside of the confines of a gallery and allowing art to be just brought back onto the streets. And I loved it. And it's really just been a really good way of transforming this little town I love.
Welcome back. A reminder to follow us on Instagram at The Art Colony Podcast. You can follow us there and find out who's coming up and what's going on. Also, mark your calendars, July 21st. We're going to have a live recording event at the Commons to celebrate 1 year of the Art Colony Podcast. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll get all the details about the time and what's going on. But July 21st in the evening, we're going to have a live recording where you can be like, like in the old days when you had like recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Ooh.
That'll be you. So follow us on Instagram. And also, if you want to help us out, you can do so by going at buymeacoffee.com, do a search for the Art Colony Podcast, and you can send us a little tip. We appreciate that very much. Thank you for all those who have given up to now. When we were doing our walk of Provincetown earlier, I forgot one place. I forgot the Buoy Bar.
Oh, yes.
Because you did all of the interior of the Buoy Bar.
I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, after just a few years working with Mary Alice for Carnival installations, I was like, the Buoy Bar is there's such blank space here. Like it's begging for something.
So where do these murals start? When did you do your first mural? It's a big enterprise. It's not just doing a painting. It's probably like engineering. When did you start your first mural?
After I moved here to Provincetown.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the one at the grab and go was probably the first. I know it is just on a piece of wood mounted there, so it kind of does feel like a painting, but it was really, in my mind, was the first and the turning point for my career. After that, I did a few more here, but then Brian Piccini from Boston Urban Hospitality, who owns D-Bar and Boston Chops, asked me to come in and do work for the Boston Chops downtown crossing. And so I did all the art in there. There's a giant mural in the front staircase, and at the bottom of the staircase, I did ceiling murals in all the bathrooms. And it was just really cool because it was such a gorgeous venue. And I loved being able to add the sprinkle on top, and making art that only exists in one moment in time is so invigorating. So much of art, I think fashion these days is mass produced. You can get a print of so many things that you love. And I think you should always be surrounded by art you love. But there's something about a mural that has this dynamic energy because it only exists there. It can't be moved. I've done so many murals where people leave or something happens to the house and it needs to be damaged and they have to paint over it. And I'm like, that's okay. When you think about that time and when you look at photos, you'll know that was the window of time where that art existed and now it's gone. And there's something really beautiful and poetic about that, in my opinion.
Okay, somebody calls you up and they say, I have a 7x14 wall in my apartment and I want a mural. How do you approach that? How do you start the process?
I would get a sense for their overall aesthetic. I like to be bold and not play it safe, but that's not everyone's aesthetic. So kind of getting a feel for their sense of design and what it is that they want to surround themselves by. And I'll just pitch some ideas, show them other iterations we've done. Like the mural that we referenced before with Sue Tran and Joe Reminelli. They bought this place in Provincetown as an ode to a friend that they had lost and who always was like, let's go get a splash. Let's get a splash. That was their way to one more. And let's all do it together. Let's go have a splash. And so then in his honor, they named their house the Splash Pad, and they wanted the art to kind of invigorate that. And it's 2 stories, a lifted loft, a really interesting space because the wall has a lot of character, but not a lot of space to actually hang something. So I was able to kind of go through and did all these water forms that kind of flow around a staircase and go over there. But it just created this like water droplet splashing from the second floor into the ground, splashing all over the house, and it's gorgeous. Like,
It is.
and I love it so much. But that was definitely a reflection of where they were and how they wanted the art to capture, enhance, and kind of honor their home. And so I think I try to really connect with the client. I love commission work because it is that back and forth. Like I'll provide a couple ideas, they'll provide some criticism, and then through there we'll hash out what it is that we want to do together. So I'd say I really am open to working side by side with people and to making sure that the art is what they want.
And I just remembered another place I didn't mention on our walk, 40 Franklin Street,
Yes.
which is on my street. You did the garage there, the whole garage. You did a
Yeah, the
mural?
garage, they have a little studio, it's all around the side.
You have so much all over Provincetown. Okay, back to the process of making a mural. Okay, so you go, you have sort of an interview with the owners,
Mhm.
but then do you draw small and then transfer it to big, or do you draw directly on the wall? Do you have projections? What's the process in making this?
I'll chalk it out. No projections
On the wall?
on the wall. Just go right in it. Chalk is an incredible tool to use if you're not ready to commit. And I think a lot of people really could use a visual aid. So I'll do a digital rendering, um, and I'll provide the client with a few different options. And if they like one, I'll just kind of like chalk it out and be like, this is what I'm thinking. And if they have that imaginary gleam to their eye, they can like, I can see it. And then I just jump in. Jump in with a lot of bravado that I think I've now earned. But at the beginning, I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. And I was just like, let's see how this works. Like I don't have any classic training. I mean, I have very little classic training in painting. Most of my college was photography, paper making, and printmaking. But once I graduated, I couldn't really do any of that. So I was painting at the foot of my bed. And so when people wanted me to paint the side of a building, I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to have figured it out every time.
You said you work with chalk. Do you do the whole thing with chalk or just an outline?
Just the outline. So the one at the buoy bar, which was the first time I needed like that construction equipment, which was hilarious
Yeah,
because
this
they
was
were
like a Michelangelo situation.
yeah. Well, I think a little higher production value, but yeah, I had one of those scissor lifts, and it was hilarious because they were renovating all their rooms at the time. So the boat slip, it was like a 4-month project, one of my largest I've ever done, and it was just me and a construction crew, and they all would take their lunch there because I'm blasting ABBA. I'm wearing my tiny little shorts, and I'm just like doing this little scissor lift, like going up like 2.5 stories tall. I'm like painting a little rope and then coming back down. But for that one, I would just take that little lift and just kind of like chalk out these lines. And we had discussed wanting to kind of wrap the whole room with rope. So it would be atmospheric, but repetitive and, have a nice design element to it. And I just kind of did these swooping lines and then added the rope to it and allowed it to just kind of mold itself to the room and kind of reveal itself to me over time.
Now that reminded me of another piece because you did somebody's Jeep with rope at some point.
I did. Hans and Bieber, two incredible artistically driven human beings, came up to me and like, we have a white Jeep, but we're not really white Jeep kind of people. Like, what can you do? And I was like, well, this will be the most expensive canvas I've had to date, but let's do it. I bought a bunch of maritime varnish. They'd actually seen my friend Brian Pacini's boat had a little mar on it. And one day he was like, you should paint it, and then fell asleep. And I was like, I should. And so I like got the paint and went out and painted the side of his boat with shark teeth while he was taking a nap. And then I was like, I love this. And they saw that and they're like, can you do this to a car? So I wrapped the whole thing with rope. And I think it's one of the coolest pieces I've ever done. Like I see it, people all the time are like, I saw your Jeep. I was like, well, it's not mine.
Oh, you
not yet.
Hated it. Okay, I keep on getting off of my list of questions here because I keep on remembering stuff about you.
Good.
Okay,
that's the whole point.
Let's go back to creating a mural. So do you have to treat the surface with something before you start painting on it?
Mostly just making sure it's nice and clean. Nice, clean, and dry. Depending on the surface, if it's, like I didn't do anything to the Jeep, but I used the maritime varnish that was meant to be kind of the wear and tear on that. For building, like I just did a mural at D-Bar in Dorchester for their 21 years, and he wanted the whole building to be something you can't miss. So we covered it in rainbows and lasers, and again, one of the largest things I've done. And for that one, we just like gave it a good hearty scrub and then just painted it and sealed it afterwards. So depending on the paint, depending on how you handle it, usually it's pretty minimal to prepare for.
Yeah, and that's my next question. What do you paint with? What sort of materials do you use for that?
Not a house paint.
Really,
Yeah,
house paint?
like
Yeah.
house paint, latex, Sherwin-Williams, like, go to town. That's what it's meant for. It's meant to be
Uh-huh.
outside. It's meant to have the wear and tear of UV and especially here with the maritime, like but again, this is outside. It's getting beaten down by the elements. It's not meant to last forever.
And do you feel that using house paint can give you, like, the mixing power that you need and all of that?
I have not felt it limiting me whatsoever yet.
I was thinking oils or acrylic, but no, you're going latex.
Yeah, we're going for durability.
Uh-huh.
There needs to be wear and tear. It's like even if you look at the HRC, the door frame is being bumped and prodded every day by tourists and delivery people. So you need something that can like take a little tough loving.
And do you have any other big murals coming up? Any big projects coming up?
Well, actually, thank you so much for asking.
Oh, I didn't know, but what do
Oh
you have
my
going on?
god! It's almost like we discussed. I am very fortunate and very excited to share that I just signed with the Greg Salvatori Gallery. First time with gallery representation here in town, and my first show will be June 26th of this year. And one thing that we talked about was how he is really doing an incredible job already of representing me in a way that I didn't know I could find from an advocate. But I was like, a gallery representing me with a blank white wall outside really doesn't make a lot of sense. And so we are going to be doing a large mural that's kind of showcasing and continuing the work that I'll be showcasing inside and painting the whole outside as a way to promote my show and to get rid of one more big white wall in town.
So is it gonna be all around the gallery, or which wall are we talking about?
It's going to be the wall that's facing the west end, like towards the library.
So the wall that's right next to Daniel Hammond's store?
Yes,
Yeah.
and the little convenience store.
Mhm.
So it'll be right there, and then it'll kind of loop around the front and kind of draw your eye in, and it'll be a continuation of the work I have inside. And I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be really cool.
And, you'll be doing this live on the street, right?
Yep. Starting
So
next week.
our listeners can come and take a look at you doing it, right?
Please, please.
So do you know the address and the times when you'll be there?
Yeah, somewhere in here. I'm not great at recalling proper nouns or data. I don't know the address off the top of my head, but
Well,
I
it's
will for the next time this question is asked.
You can look up the Greg Salvatori Gallery on Google Maps.
Yes. And please do. The art there is incredible, and the artists he represents are beautifully queer, and I love it. It already feels like a family, and I'm very grateful to be there.
So do you know the dates when you'll be out there painting?
Yeah. I'm getting my fingers in it now. But I should be painting for about a week leading up to the 26th. We're hoping to just kind of spread it out in tiny little chunks every day to give a lot of people the opportunity to come and to participate and to see and to ask questions. We wanted to generate some buzz, and we want it to be something that is invigorating the community. So I'd say for between like the 16th to the 26th, 10 days, usually, depending on the sun, like mural work, exterior mural work is very much dictated by the weather. So if it's a rainy day or if the sun's beaten down, it doesn't work. So you have to like find those nice little windows. And I don't think I've really found my ideal time, but probably between 10 and 2 for those 10 days. So swing by, say hi.
So this show is coming out on Monday, June 22nd, which means Josh will already be at work. So if you're in Provincetown, go in the East End, just by the East End parking lot, and you'll see him there at the Greg Salvatori Gallery working.
I hope you can't miss me.
So Josh, you mentioned the weather.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was wondering also. What happens if you're doing your mural and starts raining? Does that affect your process? Does that damage the paint or whatever?
Especially here, I'm only painting usually in season. So that allows for paint to dry fairly quickly. So even if there is a little sun shower at the end of the day, I haven't had any issue where the paint's running off or like causing mess on the street. But I have had to take a lot of just like unexpected days off, which I don't mind. So, I love allowing nature to dictate my artistic scheduling. Like if it's a beautiful day, I'll paint. If it's a rainy day, then I guess I won't.
And you'll get a great tan.
Yes.
And you always do get a great tan.
I'm very grateful for, again, that Florida upbringing that gave me a nice base that I haven't lost yet. So it is grueling sometimes to be out in the sun, and sometimes the paint does not act the way that I would expect it to, just because it's either so hot or like, the surface is heating up and it just dries so quickly I can't blend. But a lot of the times it works out as well as can be.
Now, one thing I've always really admired about watching you working is you work so fast.
You have to. You're outside. It might rain at any moment.
Because I was when I was writing this, I was thinking, I just finished this little 12 by 12 painting and it took me 4 days. And I was thinking, Josh could do like a 40 by 40 wall in 4 days. So how did you develop this, facility with, shapes and colors and you just paint so freely?
I guess necessity is that a viable answer? I just kind of, like I said, I just kind of wing it, and it's just allowed me to thrive in those moments. A lot of my friends will tell you I thrive with a deadline. I do. I love the pressure of knowing that the date of closing is on its way, and I'm invigorated by that sort of time constraint. But in general, my paint, like I've worked really long and hard on developing a painting style, and I do love to paint a lot of freeform, very expressionistic, lots of layering, and the way that it just kind of happened, it does work really quickly.
Hmm. In 2021, we were in Miami together
Mhm,
for Art Gazel.
mhm.
And for the Gathering Hotel there, you were doing murals, and there were like hundreds of people watching you working. Did that put any pressure on you?
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I would argue that I'm very much a behind the scenes kind of performer. I love being involved with, live art, but it is a little nerve-wracking to be the center stage for it all, but it's been a great challenge and a great, what's the word I'm looking for? A wonderful prompt to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and see what art I can create. A similar opportunity is I've been doing live painting, figure painting at the underwear party at the Gifford House every Saturday night once weather allows. We'll have beautiful locals. At first, it was called Local Fun Guys, and I would morph the bodies of local townies into mushrooms mushrooms enhance our mind as townies enhance our town. And then last year was just more traditional figure drawing. But that, is just me and a friend in our underwear on stage for 2,000 people who were not there for art, but certainly do love it. And it can get challenging at times to know that you're just there and you're performing and you're definitely vulnerable and exposed in a way that you would just be with art, but definitely also your underwear.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice, and I kind of love putting on that show. I love, like you said, like I do paint fairly quickly, and the art I was doing at the Gathering and I'm doing at Gifford House is inks and pigments on cotton, and the work does evolve very quickly. Like the fibers will absorb the ink and then discard what it can't, and it'll just meld together, and you really just see this blank piece of cotton transform in a very short period of time. And I think so much of art feels very intimidating to people who are not artistic or don't have a foundation in creating visual arts. And so for allowing someone to see art being created in real time over just a couple of hours, I think is wonderful. I think it really helps shed perspective on art and bring people a little bit closer to understanding what kind of art that they want.
So you've had to adapt to a lot of different surfaces to work on because you were
Mhm.
saying, you've worked on outdoor walls, indoor walls. Now you're working on cotton. Actually,
Jeep boats.
Jeep's boats. We have a piece from you in our house, which is, I think it's a bed sheet or curtain
Mm,
with a big gigantic picture of
tour. Yep.
Tor Jensen on it. So yeah, you've had to really adapt to work on many different types of surfaces.
Mhm. My new show, shameless plug, is
Oh no,
all
you're supposed to plug. Go ahead.
plug away,
Yeah.
is, all on found glass here in town. A lot of window panes from renovated houses, a lot of, old framed photos and paintings that I've gotten through the Methodist Church, and so that has been a really exciting thing as well because I don't like buying something new and pristine to paint on. Like, I like having something that's dredged in history and that's already lived a life and then transforming it similar to a mural. And so I found all these old window panes and I just was like, these are beautiful. And so I have been painting on these glass, painting on these frames, and then coating them with resin. And that is just behaving so much differently than anything else I've painted, but I'm loving it. I'm just finding it so smooth, compared to like shingles.
Hmm.
And there's so much less drift as you would with like cotton. There's no tear. So it's really cool to kind of see how my painting style and my artistic expression does differentiate between different mediums. But I love that. I think it's nice.
You did something like that a few years ago because we have so much from you in our house. We have
You have
two
a beautiful house though.
we
So.
have two pieces from you that are small. One is a bird, one is a fox, and
Mhm.
they're done on plexi or glass.
On glass, yeah.
They're done on glass.
Mhm.
So it's something you've done
I
before.
have done this before, yeah.
Yeah.
That was for my little Provincetown local series. My first show in town was actually at the Commons, all in on the Commons. They're fantastic. Dave LaFrance has been a huge supporter and really like when I wasn't really advocating for myself, he's like, "No, Josh, we should do this." And I was like, "Oh," and I'm so grateful for him. I wouldn't be here without his support. And that was the show where I was like, all right, I know what the people want a landscape. You know, landscape is the bread and butter of Provincetown. But I was like, what else is? And I was like, the local, like piping flowers is our beautiful part of the landscape here. And a nemesis for some, but they're gorgeous little birds and foxes as well. So I really like doing those little animal portraits, and it called on a lot of my backbone with animal photography, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we enjoyed them too. Okay, so let's go back to your show coming up at Greg Salvatori.
hmm
So, how did you approach Greg? Did he approach you? How did you end up in a gallery?
I approached Greg. I was hoping to have my third show at the Commons, and I had a bad adult moment where I did not submit my application in time, and I was floundering because I had started creating all this work. I had just moved studios. I'm now painting above Be Exclusive in the center of town, and I come preparing for a show. And then when that fell through, I was like, I don't know what to do. And I saw Greg. I was like, Greg, can I talk to you for a minute? And I like had a full blown adult breakdown, and he was like, "No, Josh, we can have a home for you." And he immediately welcomed me with open arms, had some great ideas for ways to push my career forward. You know, one of the things he said was, everyone expects to enjoy your art for free because it's all over town. So, like, how can we now bring it to a gallery? How can we now bring it to individual homes? And he really helped already in the last just 4 months that we've been working together, has really helped me frame how I want to approach my artwork and how I want to be seen as an artist here in town.
And that was one of my questions, actually. How did you adapt your work for a gallery wall?
I'll do whatever Greg tells me. One of the things I wanted to do with this was kind of so the show is all figurative landscapes. It actually came from a body of work I did 5 years ago as a way to kind of to win back an ex boyfriend of mine. I dedicated the entire show to him, and it was a love letter. And I took some of our intimate moments and folded them into the Provincetown landscape where we fell in love. And I knew that I wanted to start doing landscapes, but I wanted them to do on my own terms. And figurative work is really where my heart lies. So I was like, how can I fold these beautiful board bodies into Provincetown, into the dunes? Like, how can I make this look not only like Provincetown, but like a queer safe space? And it just kind of has folded from there. And the show thankfully did not bring back that boy, but it did invigorate me and launch me into this new body of work that I'm just so tickled with, and I just love it.
And that one you had painted on like siding,
On
right?
wainscoting, yeah,
On
on all
wainscoting.
beadboard.
Yeah.
So my painting style is very fluid, but the way that there was like grid line with the raised texture would just catch. So I just like started painting on it because I had a piece in my studio and I just was trying something new. And then like paint would just kind of like drip down between it. And I just like love those moments that I would never be able to plan for. And they just really pushed and invigorated each work to have this like energy that was just like so spontaneous. Um, and that whole body of work. And I just loved painting on something that looked like it was supposed to just be like wall decor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the new body of work is just like that, but a lot of it's on glass and you can see a lot of empty space through it. So I want to like paint the walls behind it and kind of just like kind of blend in, you know, like really breaking down the confines of what art needs to be and how it can be outside of just a rectangle or a square.
And how long have you been working on this show?
One of the paintings that will be in the show I've been working on for like 5, 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of it has been frames and glass panes that I've collected that I knew I wanted to do for this body of work. So it's been something I've been pouring myself into for a very long time and keeping on the back burner. Like I've done a lot of other groupings of arts and series that I've really loved, but this has always been like kind of on my mind as something I wanted to do. And it all came together so quickly with Greg. And so this is just really feeling like a liberating moment to kind of bring this body of work that I've gestating seems like a really vicious word to use, but has been gestating for quite some time.
Yeah, and this is going to be an exciting launch for you to go into the art gallery world.
Ooh.
So your show is opening on June 26th.
Mhm.
And Greg Salvatori knows how to throw a party
Oh,
and
yeah.
throw a show opening. So to our listeners, you can go to the Greg Salvatori Gallery on Friday, June
Mhm.
26th for Gallery Stroll
It's gonna be a spectacle.
to see Josh's outside mural and his show inside. How
Mhm.
long will the work be on the wall?
It'll be up through July 3rd.
Through July 3rd.
Mhm.
And then, since you're represented, the work will be available also through the website and all through the summer.
What there will always be something of mine that you can add to your beautiful art collection.
We encourage that.
Oh, yeah, we do. I eat every day.
So, Josh, before we get to the speed round, I want to ask you, what would be your dream project?
The first thought that just crossed my mind was painting the outside of town hall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's do it. I applaud Provincetown's effort to remain historical, and I think there is a lot of quaint sincerity to this place that I do think needs to be protected. But I also think there's lots of opportunity for it to reflect its current demographic and its history as an art, an art legacy. And I would love to see more public art around town. And I think Town Hall is a beautiful building, but it's just like all different, like saturated jewel tones right now, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, why not put something like why not make it stand out? Like it doesn't need to just be single block colors, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. And it would be quite an impressive, flex for town to be like, wow, town hall, look at this place.
Yeah.
We should live here. My friend Loxanne Layton, who's a savant in every walk of the word, she was like, Josh, we should paint the water tower. I was like, I would also love that. You couldn't miss it. I'm sure there's some sort of regulation for why there's too much joy if we painted that, but I would love to do that. I also thought about, I also know it probably wouldn't be good, but the airport runways here in town. I would love for that to just be something you could just see from the air.
I'm sure there's regulations for that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Safety, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't fly. I can barely drive a car. But I think that would be so much fun. I did some murals. My roommate Chad Ryder, who's amazing, taught me scuba diving in Honduras in Utila, and I did a mural there. And somebody came up and was like, my family runs a conservation island off the coast called Cayos Cochinos. Like, how about I fly you out there in a helicopter and you could paint there? And so there is this building that was for a sea turtle hatchery, but you can really only see it from the air. So I painted this giant pink boa constrictor because it's the only place in the world where the pink boa constrictor lives. I did this whole thing just like wrapping it, and then the head is on top of it, and you can only see it from a helicopter. But it's such a cool moment that like it's not for anyone but the person who's going to be flying by, and they get to look down. They get this little like Easter egg. They get this little thoughtful moment of engagement.
That was another question I had. If the work you have done in Provincetown has led to work elsewhere, people came and saw your murals and said, hey, we need to hire this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I think it's yeah. I think mostly just showing nothing, not a specific example of that, not yet. But I do think that I've been able to showcase examples of my work that has led to people feeling a little bit more comfortable with me, with taking a chance on me. Like
Mhm.
if someone just approaches you like, "Can I paint the the outside of your livelihood?" It could be a very daunting ask.
Yeah.
Especially in, I've done murals through Thailand, I've done murals through Honduras, I've done some in South America, and it definitely, like having that sort of registrar of images and examples for what it could be, I think is really liberating for a lot of people. People need a visual aid to see something outside of their comfort zone. So I think people in town, honestly, a lot. I work for just competent queer women here in town, and it's been amazing. But between Michelle, Mary Alice, Karen Nash, like they've allowed me to add these examples to my portfolio. That's really liberated so much of my career.
Mhm. So are you gonna be creating art for Carnival this year?
I hope so. Yes, I'm definitely on with the boat slip. This will be our 10th year now.
Now this year it's Deep Sea Disco.
Deep Sea
Yeah,
Disco.
for Carnival. That's the Carnival theme for this
Mhm,
year.
mhm. Honestly, some of the work that my favorite for both slips that we've done so far was during the pandemic. It was yellow brick. No, no, no. What was the actual phrasing for somewhere over the rainbow? There it is. It was somewhere over the rainbow. So we constructed the Wicked Witch of the East ruby slippers and the striped stockings that came out from the bow slip. So like the bow slip fell on her. It
Now
was 28 feet.
no, exactly. We have to talk about dimensions here because this is not just a little painting. This was 28 feet long.
28 feet long, out from the building. The ruby slippers were 10 feet tall. I painted each individual sequin,
Sequin. Yeah.
and it was a statement, and you couldn't miss it. And that's my favorite. I like to make art that transforms the space that is impossible to ignore.
And they're massive. I mean, I remember I don't remember what the theme was that year. I think it was myths, legends, and monsters, something like that.
Mm.
At the Queen Vic, you did Michelangelo's David from the back.
It was Renaissance
taller
and
than
Revolutions.
Renaissance and Revolution. It was taller than the house.
It was 3 stories tall. The largest butt I've ever drawn so far.
How do you even? I mean, how do you even create that? Because I know your studio is not that big.
It is not that big. I painted that flat on a driveway and wished for the best. It was honestly like I drew it probably 100 times before I just chalked it out on wood on the ground.
And then you have to cut out that
And
board
then
in that
and then
shape.
jigsawed it, painted it, constructed it. My best friend Alex Sprague helped me pull it all together and mount it to the side of the building. Honestly, Alex, but also like 10 other people. I'm so blessed to have incredible people in my lives. And every time I'm like, I don't know really what to do, they'll show up with arms and a hammer and a coffee and be like, we got this.
Hmm.
So it really does take a village. Something that you talked about with Marion was like, it really does
Yeah.
take a village. And this town is built on a village mentality.
So if some of you want to volunteer to help out, help out Josh for Carnival, he's going to have big projects.
Always,
again.
yeah.
And yeah, they really define the look of Carnival because you also work on floats.
Mm-hmm.
How many floats have you done?
I believe I've done 5 floats so far. Yeah. Especially now that the PBG has started their matchmaking program, which I don't know if hopefully everyone's aware, but they will provide businesses that don't have the bandwidth to do their own carnival float with artists who don't have the means or the opportunity to create a float and put them together. So through there, like I've worked with Visit Fort Lauderdale, I've worked with a number of different organizations and built them a really incredible float. And it's really fun to make. I mean, it's a lot of work. I think I prefer doing the art that's up for a week on the side of a building than something that's just like going down the road for an hour or two. But it really is wonderful to create artwork for a carnival. Carnival is just joy incarnate. I love the mixed demographic here in town. It's the largest moment in Provincetown summer. And it's really nice to be those little sprinkles on top of a lot of other people's hard work to showcase what a special place Provincetown is.
It is. Carnival is my favorite day of the year.
It is.
Absolutely. What happens to all these gigantic cutout decoration paintings after Carnival is done?
Some of them don't make it. That we've definitely had a mass bonfire in the back. I mean, somebody wanted the David's butt as a headboard. There was one for Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I did a bunch of Wizard of Oz characters in fetish gear, and so there's definitely a Toto with a pup mask on somewhere in the Queen Vic. I have a couple of little like remnants of carnivals past around my house. Like I think it's kind of a wonderful little testament. So after any carnival, you're more than welcome to take or purchase any of them if you'd like. But a lot of the businesses will keep them. A lot of them will like have no use for it. I've donated some to like we did NASCAR one year for Toyland at the Queen Vic, and we had Hot Wheels track. And then someone was like, "My son loves Hot Wheels, going to be part of his birthday party." So I went to Truro and installed it for his birthday party, and like it had 2 uses out of that, and I love it. Like we've donated some to the Wellfleet Elementary School for their theater productions. So
Oh yeah, because that can be reused for
yeah.
theater stuff for sure.
The last 2 years I've worked with Castle Hill to work with the Wellfleet Elementary School, and I'll like help the kids. We'll all work together and build their sets, and it's just so wonderful to like do all this with the little kids. But it's nice to see that art give another life and like bring a little whimsy to children as well.
Do you know if you'll have a float this year, or is it too early for that still?
I think it's a little too early for that. The only carnival I definitely have set in stone is I'll be doing something at the Grab and Go. I'll be doing something at the Exclusive, and I'll be doing something, of course, at the Boat Slip. And the Boat Slip, I think, is going to be one of our biggest years yet, which I know is probably very antagonizing for Mary Alice to hear, but you heard it here first. And now it's law.
I can't wait to see what you're going to put together there, because every year it's mind-blowing.
I love it. It's what a great backdrop. You know, it's the watering hole of town. Everyone goes to the Boat Slip. Tea dance is such a force to be reckoned with, and I'm so honored to be a part of that institution. I'm so grateful that they give me an opportunity to kind of show off. You know, like a lot of this work is something that I would never have an opportunity to make otherwise. But it is art that is large scale that you can't ignore, and I love it.
I'm always so impressed because, as I said, you know, I'm a little 12 by 12 painting took me 4 days.
Well,
And
that
you create like a dozen 12-foot high figures in the space of a few weeks.
Well, in a few weeks. And that's me just like, especially at the Boat Slip, it'll be me with a little like planter's punch painting in their little like covered garage there at the base of the stairs. So when you come in during like probably 3 weeks before Carnival, whenever you go to tea dance, look to the right after you enter and you'll probably see me there and always wave or say hi.
Or go help.
Yeah, I have extra brushes.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, we are going to go through our speed round.
Perfect. I've got strong opinions. Let's go.
Okay. Do you prefer working indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not? Again, letting nature dictate. You know, if you're indoors, you can be anywhere. If you're outdoors, you're really in only that space and time. And I think outdoors, especially here, like Provincetown is gorgeous. So I love being here on the street. there is something that can be both taxing and really powerful about painting on the street. When I was just painting D-Bar in Dorchester, so many community members would be able to walk up and be like, "Hey, like we really appreciate this. Like, thank you for painting it." And I really am empowered by that. Like it's so easy to kind of get lost in the monotony of creative work of like trying to make deadlines and doing that, but all of a sudden seeing your artwork immediately impact the people around you is such a good way of getting a little pep in your step.
Hmm. And you don't mind relinquishing control to nature in terms of,
No.
sun or
Or
rain.
even the people on the
Yeah.
street. Every time I'm painting, there's someone has to be like, "What are you doing?" So, and it's nice. It's nice to remember what I'm doing it for.
Next question. Do you prefer painting from life or painting from imagination?
Life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My
You
imagination
surprised me
is
this
Oh, really?
You surprised me in all these questions. Okay.
No, I prefer painting from life. I think as talented as I am, nature is more talented than I. And so just calling on the already beautiful majesty of the creative world around me is the easiest place to go to stem from.
And do you tend to go to the Tuesday night life drawings sessions at the Gifford House?
Yes, Phil, Carlos, and John have kept on the legacy from when we started there, and I get a lot of inspiration from drawing the human body, and I'm so grateful that they have continued to keep that alive, and I go as often as I can.
And you work in large formats there?
No, there I do watercolors.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Honestly, I'd never touched a watercolor before, and I saw it one day at CVS, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this little like $4 watercolor set." And now I only do figure drawings in watercolor, and that kind of would stem to the cotton and figment painting.
Hmm.
Um, but I really enjoy those sessions so much. They bring in a lot of beautiful models, and it was the first time I feel like I've had artistic fellowship here in Provincetown. Like a lot of my work was really just me, and I wasn't a part of a gallery family. I was doing art with people who weren't doing art, and this is the first time that I felt. I mean, I guess it was really at your home for the figure drawing circles there, where I was talking to people who were doing their own art, and we would all just commiserate
Yeah.
and praise each other, and it was really lovely to have that fellowship.
It was great when we were having it in our house. This was
We love convenience.
2018, 19, 20,
Mhm.
I think. But then it really just got bigger than we can handle in our
Mhm.
house because so many people wanted to participate that eventually we had to, it went public.
It went public,
Yeah.
and
But
now it's open to everyone,
yeah.
and I think it's a really incredible asset to town.
Next question. Do you prefer Provincetown in season or off season?
Off season.
Yeah. High five. High five. Yeah.
I love Provincetown all year round, but I feel like I bleed myself dry in this and running around for the season. And by the end of it, I just need some time for myself to knit myself back together. And honestly, my first couple of years in Provincetown felt really out of balance because I would just leave at the end of season and go back to Boston to work. But now that I have it, there's such a beautiful dichotomy of my year. Like I love how hectic my summers are and then the restorative in the winters. And one of my best friends, Kobe, will always say, like, we evolved with the seasons and we should be dictated by the seasons. And, like, I don't want to be 100% all year round.
Mhm.
I like giving my all for the summer and then taking time to flesh out those things that were inspiring that I didn't have time, that I neglected, because I was just running around, like, bringing fried shrimp to strangers and painting the outside of a building. So the winters now have been for me, for my craft, to do the things that I love and to, just enjoy my own company.
Yeah. No, it makes a huge difference as artists when we're here in the winter. And as you said, we can enjoy our own company
Yeah.
and listen to what's going on in our head
Mhm.
instead of just dealing with clients nonstop.
100%.
Yeah. Next question. Speedos or swim trunks?
Speedos.
I knew you were going to say that, but
Oh my goodness, no. I would the rest of my life for full shorts, full shirt, anything. No.
Uh-huh.
We're Speedos for sure.
Yeah. Anywhere you go?
Yeah.
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 Be proud.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And the last question. I didn't plan to always have my last question based on food, but I decided that
We
from
love
now
a theme.
yeah, it's good. Yeah. Last question is going to be based on food. This is based on your work at Grab and Go. Salad or smoothie?
Salad.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
love a salad.
You love a salad?
Yeah, I feel like such a good person when I enjoy a salad.
Mhm.
And the salads there are so good.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
No.
But I can't have a meat smoothie either.
No, they don't make those.
No, thank goodness. Not yet. Who
Yeah.
knows? She's an inventor.
No, not Michelle. She would not make a meat
No,
smoothie.
I don't think she would.
Yeah, Michelle is the owner of Grab and Go, and she's vegan, and she makes wonderful food there.
Incredible.
We highly recommend you go visit Grab and Go.
She's kind of both of our patrons. I know we both trade art for food.
Yes.
She keeps me alive. I would not be as healthy if it wasn't for
I
Michelle.
did that for, I think, 3 years,
Yeah.
where Michelle would come to my gallery in the spring, get a piece of art, and then I had free smoothies or salad all summer long. It was great, especially the days when I have to work in the gallery until 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So I would go and get something that would, be like first lunch, and then I bring from home my second lunch, and then I'm good until 9 p.m.
It honestly, it feels like such simpler times. Like I've never wanted to be like a Renaissance painter, but I was like, oh, I'd love to have someone just be like very wealthy and be like, here, I'll take care of you and I'll feed you, and you just have to make art. Like, yeah, that's the dream. And Michelle has been that dream for me.
Michelle has been that dream. Well, it was a great pleasure to have you here.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here.
And I waited a full year, but I'm glad we finally did it.
I hope it was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait. I encourage everyone to walk around town and try to find more hidden pieces of Josh Wilmoth's work. It's really everywhere. And as I said at the beginning, you really define the way this town looks nowadays.
It is an honor to be able to paint this place I love, to make it one of a kind. And if you can't find my art on the street, then maybe that's your call to arms to add something yourself through me.
Ooh, okay. So Josh Wilmoth, website.
JoshuaWilmoth.com, WILMOTH.
Joshua Wilmoth.
Joshua Wilmoth.
Mhm.
My Instagram is at Josh Moss, which you can see a lot of that tag around town. I'm represented by Greg Salvatori at address not disclosed.
And your show at Greg Salvatori Gallery starts on June 26th.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Come out.
And everybody go to the opening.
And come see the new mural.
At Greg Salvatori Gallery. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Josh. Have a great day. And thank you all for joining us. Have a great day as well.